Hello and welcome back once again to Movie Reviews. So, the movie I was going to see yesterday, but I bailed out on. Yesterday I got off work, and I got off at like 8 a.m., came home, took a quick nap, got up, and planned out my day. For the first time in a while, movie times had fallen in line with each other. So, I determined I could go see Victor Frankenstein, which you may have already seen the review for, then travel over to the other theater, because there was actually a second movie at this theater that I wanted to see. But I was like, well, actually, the third movie I want to see only has 2 run times at the other theater, and the other theater is also playing the second movie I was going to see over here, so I can run down there and see that one later. So then I went and saw The Night Before, then that one flowed right into the Krampus, and then that one was going to flow right into the one I saw today, which was In the Heart of the Sea. I ended up bailing out on it because, like I said, I was getting kind of hungry. The line was kind of long, and even though I had a half hour between shows, I was just like, I'm getting a little bit tired. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to stay 100% awake for it. Even if I do, then I got the long drive home. So I ended up bailing out and decided I'd go see it this morning, which I did. So today I went and saw In the Heart of the Sea, and what did I think of it? It was a pretty decent film. Not really a whole lot to say about it. It's just one of those like big Hollywood high-budget movies where they're trying to tell a live-action version of a literary masterpiece. In this case, Moby Dick. Although this isn't based directly on Moby Dick, it's based on another novel, which in that novel it tells the true story that inspired the story of Moby Dick, and that's basically what we're seeing here. So it starts out with Moby Dick author Herman Melville, and he's writing to this man about wanting to hear his story. The guy's wife actually calls Herman Melville to come, or sends him a letter to come, because it's like in the 1800s. He shows up, and at first the guy's like, no, I never agreed to talk to you, and the wife's like, hey, we need the money, so shut up and tell him your story. So the guy was like, oh, okay, fine, I'll tell you stuff that I've never told anybody, including my wife, just for the money. So he starts recanting the story of he himself as a young boy, age 14, who got a job working on a whaling boat back when they were still whaling. Well, they still whale today, but I don't know why, because I don't know. We have other means of heat now, so yeah. But he basically says, the story is of the captain and the first mate, who the first mate is played by Chris Hemsworth. I believe his character's name is Chase? I just watched it and I'm having trouble. Yeah, I think it was Chase. And the captain's name was Pollock, I believe, or something like that. Pollock, something like that. So basically, Chase was called into the maritime office for the company that he works for, and he was originally told he was going to be given command of his own ship after his last run, but it turns out that the son of a sea captain family, like the grandfather was a sea captain, the father's a sea captain, and now the son's a sea captain, although he's a little bit green. So they want an experienced boatsman like Chris Hemsworth's character to be his first mate and let him learn the ropes. And Chris Hemsworth is a little pissed off about it, but they offer him more money. And he goes, well, I want a guaranteed in writing contract that, after this run, you'll give me my own command and not, I won't get dicked over again. So they give it to him, and they go out on the boat, and they're having, at first everything's going okay, and then the captain directs the ship to do something that Chris Hemsworth knows is dangerous, so he's kind of second guessing the captain without directly undermining him. And the captain's like, no, just do what I say. So then, midway through, the captain realizes, hey, I fucked up because everything's going wrong. and he's trying to correct the course. And at that point, Chris Helmsworth is like, "It's too late now. You have to go. You know, it's safer to run through it than to try and turn out of it." And the captain says, "No, I'm the captain. Do as I say," and turns the ship. And they take on a little bit of damage, so they're originally going to return to port, and the captain wants Helmsworth off his boat because, you know, they butt heads too much. And Helmsworth throws out, "You know, if we return to port after only a couple days out and we don't even have a single barrel of oil, it's not going to look bad just on me. It's going to look bad on you as well, even with your family name. So why don't we go out, get, you know, do our job, and then come back, and then we never have to see each other again." So they make peace temporarily. They agree to work together. They go out and get a couple whales, get some oil. Then they stop into port. They get some oil, and then turns out that there's not many whales around. All the fishing is kind of dried up. And so they're, after a few days, they stop into a port on an island to kind of replenish their stock and everything. And they hear this other captain talking about how his ship was taken down. So they're, you know, going over like, "Well, what's your story?" And he's telling them, "You know, I was in the same boat as you, you know, or in the same situation as you. You know, there was no whales around, so I decided to travel out further than most sane men would go, and I found whales, thousands of them, and you know, easily we could have taken on 3,000 barrels overnight and been home and been done with our run in 6 months. But there was a demon," and he like describes the demon, which is basically Moby Dick, or the great white whale. And Helmsworth and the captain are kind of like, you know, even if there is this demon out there, it's just a whale. We could go out there, pick up where he left off, and be home in a couple months, and then we're done with each other. So their greed kind of got the better of them. They agreed to go out, and the crew is kind of turning against them a little bit because they're like, you know, this is ridiculous. We're way off course. We're way out further than we should have ever went, and we're running low on supplies, and there hasn't been a single whale. And then suddenly they see huge pods of whales. So like, oh, you know, glory be. So they go out in the boats, and they're trying to get some whales, and dun dun dun, here comes the great white whale and beats the shit out of all of them. So they make their way back to the big ship out of their little whaling boats, and the great white whale attacks their big boat, sinks it. So the few men that actually manage to survive get onto the 3 boats. They get as many provisions off as they can, and then they're adrift at sea. So over the course of time, they're drifting through the ocean and rationing out their provisions and whatnot. And then they find land. So they start rowing for land, and they realize that Moby Dick's followed them. So as they're trying to row towards land, he just like demolishes all of their ships. And basically they all wash up on shore via the waves. And they're kind of making camp there, and then they find other dead bodies on the island. And it's kind of like, hey, you know, these guys waited for a ship to come, and it never came. If we stay here and wait, we're going to be in the same situation because it's not going to happen. So they do their best to repair their boats, and they set back out. A few of them stay behind. I think there was like 4 total that stayed behind. And they're like, well, if we make it back to land, we'll send a boat back for you guys. So the rest of the crew sets back out on the boats. The boats all get separated. And then as the course goes on, their rations run out, and members of the crew start dying from, you know, dehydration and malnourishment and the elements and stuff. They have to make the choice that if the rest of them are going to survive, they need nutrition. So much like in the, what was that movie, Alive, about the plane crash, they have no choice but to eat the dead crew members. So that they managed to survive for, I think it said a total of 90 days before they were finally rescued. So that was like, 3 months? So over the course of 3 months, they managed to survive adrift at sea, and then they right as they're all about to give up, they're all on their last leg. They have no more provisions. They're just beaten. They're just ready to die. They start seeing birds flying overhead, so they realize, they're near land, but none of them have the energy to do anything. But I guess one of the boats managed to see them and brings them in. So then there's an inquisition held as far as like what happened, with to your ship, and they all tell the truth that there's this giant white whale sunk us, and we were adrift at sea for 90 days, and we had to do barbaric things to survive. But that's what happened. So they bury it under an inquisition where they basically say that the boat ran aground, and that's been the story for years, although there's been rumors of the great white whale, which is what interested Herman Melville in the first place. So after that, then everyone kind of sets back out on their own, and that's more or less the end of the story. They do send the ship back to the other island for the guys. Not going to say what happened there, but that does happen. That's more or less the movie in a nutshell. Not quite as intense of a movie as Moby Dick, but you can see all the elements where Herman Melville got certain character aspects. Like after the captain finished the Inquisition, he got another boat, and I think they said he went out like 2 more times trying to find the whale just to prove that it existed, and was never able to find it again. So that kind of ties into the Captain Ahab thing, his obsession of the whale. But I mean, it was like such a small part of the story. Herman Melville really had to stretch to make that character. But yeah, overall, it was a decent enough story. The movie kept you entertained. But was it as entertaining if they had just done a Moby Dick movie? Not really. But then again, Moby Dick has been done about as many times as every other movie that I've been reviewing lately. Frankenstein, Pan, all those. So this is kind of a different take on the Moby Dick story. So it's interesting for that regards alone. As far as a star rating on this one, I'd give it about a 3.5. As I said, it wasn't really anything wrong with it to where it doesn't deserve to be a 4. It's not a perfect movie by any means, so it's not a 5. But honestly, it could be a 4, except for the fact that Moby Dick as a story is more entertaining than the real life events, but it's interesting to see how they got from the real life events to Moby Dick. So I'm only going to knock it down 0.5 point for that, so it's 3.5. Do I recommend seeing it? Sure, if you like Moby Dick or the classics, check it out. It's worth a watch. Or if you just like Chris Helmsworth, you'll probably enjoy it. So that is it. There was one other movie I planned on seeing yesterday, because after I would have got out of this one, they were actually having an early screening, a day early, if that dates what date I'm recording this on, of Star Wars: The Force Awakens, and I was like, oh cool, I'll get out of In the Heart of the Sea, and I'll be able to go right into Star Wars. And I can knock out all 5 of the movies I want to see in one shot. And like I said, that didn't happen, so I could go see Star Wars today, but it's my last day off before I have to do 2 weeks straight with no days off. And I don't really want to spend my entire last day off at the movie theater like I did yesterday. So if I do go see it, I might either go see it tomorrow morning, which I have to decide which theater I'm going to see it at, because I can drive downtown and only pay like $5, or I can drive up the street here and pay $9. Or if I wait until Tuesday and go see it after work early in the morning, I can see it at the closer theater and only pay $6 because Tuesdays are discount day. So I'm not sure which one I'm going to go with that. I kind of want to go see it early because my roommates are off work around next week. So if they're home, it'd be really hard to record the review for that and get it out before the end of the year. Actually, a lot of my end of the year stuff is going to be hard to record as it is with them being here, but I'll manage somehow. So yeah, that is it for this review. Star Wars: The Force Awakens is the next review, and then I think there's 2 or 3 more movies coming out before the end of the year that I want to see and review as well. So look forward to those. I forget which ones they are at the moment. But yeah, it depends on if they open here too. That's the other thing. So that stuff will be coming up along with some other stuff. So yeah, that's it for this episode. I'm going to run up to the store real quick and see if I can find another item I just heard about being released for a future product placement. Hopefully I can find it. And if not, then I'll find something else to do. So until then, again, as always, thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment, rate, subscribe, and share the video. And until next time, we'll see you at the movies.